Whoa, caught off guard there, massively. One's eating. Yeah, guess who that is?
Not me. Not me.
And one is caught off guard massively, messing around with something in the background. All right, welcome to the Maine United show. Yeah, it's me. We are live. We've got plenty to discuss tonight. We've got Rio Ferdinand upsetting players again. Potentially a new number two who was a number two previously. A new manager looks like he's on the cusp of joining. What else have we got? We've got potential signings, Phillips, and Man United discussing potentially bringing in a new deputy football director as well. I was joined by Lauren. This is live.
Scaring everyone off.
But I'm joined by James Dixon. How you doing, James?
Not bad, Kieran. You, mate?
I'm all right. You're looking hench today. You done a shoulder workout, yeah?
I wish. I just finished work.
Get out of it. You're like, no, I've not done a shoulder workout. Shoulders are like bulging. Those who don't know, James, you're going to do what is it? What competition are you going to get involved in?
So basically, in bodybuilding competitions, there's various like categories and stuff, right? So I'm going in for like a first timers show in July, and it's what's called classic physique. So it's kind of like a throwback to the old style bodybuilding, like wide shoulders, narrow waist, big legs kind of thing. So yeah, entering a show on July 2nd. So dieting at the moment. So when he caught me off guard eating, it was salmon and rice. It's all fun. But yeah, all fun and games, mate. It's diet phase is going to come in soon, I think.
Well, the dedication that goes into it is massively admirable, James. So good luck with that, mate. We'll be keeping a close tabs on it. Definitely. All right, let's just get to Man United. First and foremost, Rio Ferdinand's out here upsetting players. Former England international and Manchester United legend has left Man United players unimpressed by his unfair criticism. Rio Ferdinand was apparently the hot topic of discussion among England players during the international break when the former Manchester United defender, whose views on his YouTube channel has left a lot of players upset. Some players have been said to be happy with the criticism from Gary Neville and Roy Keane. Yet when it comes to Rio Ferdinand's criticism, he's not happy. James, what's your thoughts on this situation? Rio Ferdinand, he's very outspoken. He's a pundit on BT Sport. He's also got his ever-growing YouTube channel that's growing at the moment. What's your thoughts on these comments? Do you think he's being overly harsh?
No, not at all, mate. The fact is, it's 2022 and we're just used to babying people, aren't we? We're just literally like, people just can't take criticism. I don't know if you remember, but a couple of months ago, Ronaldo came out and he was speaking about the young. Well, he was speaking about his kids, but I think he kind of meant it about the young players at the club.
Yeah, he was like
these young ones can't take criticism anything but negatively anymore. They can't take anything constructively. And at the end of the day, like, it's 2022. If you can't take criticism, honestly, mate, I said it before, but if you can't stand the heat, then get out the kitchen. Like, you're a professional footballer. If you can't stand a former professional footballer who has won everything telling you that you're not doing your job properly, then, like, I'm sorry to say it, but just like, man up, woman up, do anything. Like, just deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, just literally get on with it. Like, grow a pair and move on.
Yeah, I completely get that. We'd like to welcome Alex to the show. Welcome, Alex. How you doing?
Hi, I'm sorry I'm late, guys. Hi.
No,
you're on time.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Technical issues.
Everyone's having technical issues. I'm going to put it down to the wind.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't think of anything else. Alex, so basically, what I was the first topic of conversation is Rio Ferdinand. A lot of Man United players are apparently unhappy with his comments. They're saying he's overly harsh and critical on them. Previously, there was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer who came out and said that what Rio Ferdinand said about Phil Jones was not fair and was again too harsh. But apparently they don't mind what Roy Keane and Gary Neville have said. Although I would have thought Roy Keane's comments would have been harsher. What's your thoughts on the situation?
Gosh, I think Roy Keane's comments are really harsh. I think that it probably makes them cry at night, but I don't think they dare go up against Roy Keane. And also, yeah, Gary Neville. Gary Neville has some scathing critiques for a lot of them. I think with Rio, do you know, out of all of the like former United players, he's probably one of my favourite pundits because I feel like he tells it like it is, and I feel like as much as Roy Keane does. I think I remember reading something or seeing him say that a lot of their agents were like approaching him and saying stuff. And like obviously I understand it's never good, it's never nice to hear someone else say something bad about you. But the thing is when you're playing football, and this is what they should get trained in, I'm sure that it's like you're gonna get criticism. You play for Manchester United, it comes with the territory. It's like a high pressured place where everyone's going to be coming at you. Like the tiniest mistake you make is going to be magnified. Like, and that comes with the territory. So surely you're out there, you're on the pitch, you've got 75,000 people screaming at you and saying all sorts of things. Like what Rio Ferdinand has to say should not have a massive or a major implication on like your feelings and how you go about your day. I don't understand why that's such an issue. So it's just very, very strange to me. I think all of them chatting and getting upset and having these conversations, you need to take the mirror, look at yourself and ask yourself, am I doing everything that I can do? Because I remember being at the Manchester Derby and I saw those players just literally roll over and get their belly tickled. They did not do anything. So for you to start saying he shouldn't say that, he's our mouthpiece. He's saying what we think that maybe we can't reach you. And he's representing us in a way. So you need to take that on board and you need to do more and be better. I mean, I agree with Rio anyway, so they can get in the bin.
Yeah, that's a great point you make there, Alex, about being the mouthpiece, because if he's essentially saying what a lot of you are thinking, they're not going to listen to the fans. They don't. We all know. But they're going to listen to a club legend like Rio Ferdinand. Lauren, do you think the players that are upset by this, was it Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, they're just being a bit soft? They should maybe take some of these points on board and just knuckle down and get on with it.
Yeah, of course they're being soft because there's no smoke without fire. Rio's saying these comments for a reason. You know, it's not like they're performing on the pitch and they don't deserve these comments. They do. So instead of getting upset, take it as a constructive criticism and learn from it instead of just throwing your toys out of your pram because someone's saying something bad against you. I just think it's childish. I just think for someone like Rio Ferdinand who does know what he's talking about, he's been there, you should be listening to him. Like, okay, maybe he could have done it personally to them, but again, everyone's in the public eye, so it is going to be said in the public, and I think they should just take it on board and not get too upset about it and just listen to him.
Yeah, definitely. James, it's part of Rio's job is to give his opinion on things. If he was to maybe dumb it down a bit, tamper it down a bit, people would criticise him for sort of going easy on the Man United players when they've clearly not been good this season.
Yeah, why should he have to, mate? He shouldn't have to pander to the players. Like, his job as a pundit is to give his fair analysis, right? I've got nothing more to say about the players, really. They're just babies, mate. Like, they should be able to put up with whatever. We're all in this game of YouTube, right? If we click the comment section and we see something negative, like, if that made me not do my job, I wouldn't be on YouTube because I see something negative all the time. You've said it before, like you read the comment section, there's negative, it's going to be miles worse for footballers. But if that's going to stop you doing your job, that says more about you than the person writing the comment. Like, you need to be more grown up and realise that you're a professional athlete playing at the top of your game. And if you can't handle that, mate, you need to reevaluate your career.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. So, Alex, players just need to get on with it, move on, and if they're getting upset by Rio Ferdinand's comments, don't watch him.
I think so. I think. Do you know what? They're so privileged and so pampered. They don't even realise like what they have and what the opportunity and the chance they've been given. I'm sure there are like 20 other players who are queuing up to have this opportunity who would do a much better job and would handle it a lot better. So they should just be grateful of where they are. I'm not saying they should put up and shut up because I think you are allowed to have an opinion. I'm not saying they're just, our property and they can do what they want. But what I'm saying is that that one person's comment should not impact your game. And I feel like it's another excuse really for them to be like, oh, well, he's criticizing me. It's not fair. It's like, I don't want to hear any of that stuff. Like, you need to look at, like I say, look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you are not performing to the standard that is befitting of Manchester United Football Club. And that's it.
Yeah, 100%. Lauren, it seems to be the same players as well. Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford that's getting upset. They should just surely got to just knuckle down and show these critiques what they can actually do something on the pitch rather than moaning to their agents.
I think the thing is, you've got to look at the players like Fred, who gets so much stick week in, week out. You don't see him, go in and complaining and crying about it. You watch him try his hardest on the pitch. His hardest might not be the best in the world, but at least he tries and he never stops. Whereas you've got people like Rashford who cry like a baby and then don't perform on the pitch either to prove these comments wrong, this criticism wrong. So that's their problem and that's their demises. Instead of proving these people wrong who are criticising them, they're proving them right by not performing, not trying, and basically giving up because they're getting some bad comments.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, players, get on with it and stop. There we go. Paul says Shaw is a crybaby. So just get on with it, people. Next up, there's talk going around at the moment with obviously Erik ten Hag being on the cusp of becoming the new Manchester United boss, that Man United could bring back an old face in Steve McClaren. He worked with Man United in the 1999 between 1999 and the 2001 season, where he picking up the treble with Sir Alex Ferguson. And he went on to manage FC20 when Erik ten Hag was actually his assistant there. James, the tables have turned. Erik ten Hag may potentially bring in Steve McClaren as number 2. Do you think there'd be a good first step for bringing in an old face back to Old Trafford?
I think the best step they can take is just to let Erik ten Hag bring in whoever he wants to bring in. And that's not necessarily been the way that United have operated in the past. And if that's Steve McClaren, if that's Rennie Mullenstein, if that's Jaap Stam, if that's Van Persie, whoever that is, it should be his choice. Like whoever the players are that he chooses to bring in, he should have the final say. And like I said, that's not how it's operated in the past. A lot of fans seem to have a problem with Steve McClaren. They think it's going backwards. They want a complete new setup. To be honest, he was here for 3 years. We won the treble. We won the league all 3 years. If he keeps up that 100% record, I'd gladly have him back. So like I'm also a Rennie Mullenstein fan, to be honest. Like I like him as well. So, but at the end of the day, like I'm not Erik ten Hag, so I'm not choosing my number 2. So he knows the best person that he is going to be able to work with, and he needs to pick someone that he can delegate certain tasks to that get the best out of each other. And if that is Steve McClaren, then let him bring him to the club, and I'm all for it. If it's not, then let him bring whoever he chooses.
Yep, fair point. Alex, do you think it's smart for Man United to potentially bring in an old face, someone that Erik ten Hag knows as well, or are you with James? Just bring in who he wants.
I think it's a tough one because we brought back old faces, brought back Ollie, we brought back a few old faces, and it's not necessarily worked. But again, it's like I agree with James. If Ten Hag is picking this person or is picking Steve because he likes his philosophy and it works in the way that it works with what he's doing, then I support it. I mean, I'm always going to back what the manager's going to do because I feel like he has the vision. I do just wonder, like we were talking about the fact that he won a treble with United, but I feel like that was in '99. The football being played then is so much different to the football being played now. So it'd be interesting for me to see if Steve McClaren has progressed in his football tactics and if he is up to date with what is going on in the modern world of football. I mean, I think that's the key thing for me. But again, I just want Ten Hag to pick whoever he feels that is going to get the best out of these players and is going to coach his players to be the best. So I'm on the fence with it, but either way, I mean, look, he can always get a new number 2 if anything happens, it doesn't work. But I think I'll just go with what Ten Hag is going to decide for now.
Yeah, true. Lauren, what's your thoughts on potentially bringing back Steve McClaren to Man United?
I think we've become a bit of a club who is stuck with bringing back old players or old assistants and things like this. And I think we kind of need to stay away from that now. I think we need to go forward and build something new from the beginning. And because we brought Mickey Phelan back, that didn't really work. You know, we need to just basically stop being a friend club and just bring in who Ten Hag wants and who's going to work for him. If he does want McClaren, then you know he obviously knows what he wants and it could work. But I think if McClaren's choice, I think it's all wrong. I think the manager.
I think that's Lauren, not me. All right. Yeah. What is that? Is that me? It's not me.
No.
All right. So obviously, if there's the talk around this is for a reason. They want to keep a bit of Man United's history. Is there other ways they can do that, James, rather than maybe crowbarring an old face back in again?
You keep Man United's history, mate, by winning things. You keep Man United's history by teaching people about the history of the club, by teaching people about Munich, by keeping Old Trafford as it is, by not knocking it down and moving it around. You teach the new generations of fans about what you've witnessed at a football club. You don't have to bring back people that you saw as a kid. Like I saw Ronaldo the first time round, like I'm sure we all did, and he was fantastic. And has he been as good this time round? No. But it's like I didn't want to see him back just because I'd seen him. I don't want to bring anyone back that's just like been a legend in the past. It doesn't mean they're going to be a legend in the future. It doesn't mean they're going to be a fantastic manager. There's a lot of talk around Wayne Rooney as a future manager of Manchester United. Now he needs to be proven. You see what Lampard's gone and done at Everton, and they're in big trouble. And Frank Lampard was a Chelsea legend, but obviously, like, good player doesn't always equate to good manager. So you look at like Wayne Rooney, and it's like absolute legend as a player, one of the all-time greats of the club. But are we going to try and shoehorn him in some point in the future? I just think I agree with what Lauren said to some extent, that we are a club that's a bit nostalgic. We did kind of fall in love with the whole romantic thing of Ollie as manager, and 20 years after the treble, can we do it again, and all this kind of thing. We did kind of buy into that, and maybe we do need to move on and stop trying to force old faces back into the club. Yeah.
It does feel like every step of the way, whatever manager comes in, mate, the board or upstairs, someone has tried to make sure that there's an old face in and around the team. Do you think it's just time to move on, Alex, and just let him start from scratch?
Yeah, I really, really do. I think that obviously, like James is saying, you're not going to ever forget the history of the club and what's gone before you. And I think that adds to element of what Manchester United is. And I think that you can't take away from the trophies, etc., and the success that we've had, and especially to Alex Ferguson, the fuzzy face. But I think that it's time to like let go of that and move into a new way, because I feel like maybe in some ways, holding on to that past, holding on to Alex Ferguson, holding on to that legacy is not allowing us to move into the modern game. It's not allowing us to have managers that are going to create a new kind of, I guess, system or a structure. It's not allowing us to have players that are working well with the manager. I just feel like there's so much of a disconnect with everything from the board to the players. And I feel like having Ten Hag and moving on and having a new team and new players, it's breeding new life. And hopefully my hope is that it's going to breed more success. So I think that as much as I'm attached to the success we've had in the past, like I'm really excited for a Manchester United of the new that's going to bring even more success.
Lauren, do you think the board or the people upstairs are worried about some of the history being lost? This Man United way that they speak of, that I've heard so many times. Do you think they're worried?
I'm going to reply quite blunt here. No, I don't think they care.
No,
I don't think they care about the history of the club. To be honest with you,
why do you think they keep trying to bring back old faces? Why do you think the Ollie is there? Why Ryan Giggs previously, Darren Fletcher upstairs? Carrick.
Because they think that's what the fans want.
Yeah.
Okay.
They think that that's going to keep us happy. Signing Solskjaer, that was keeping us on side. It's the same with any of them. They think that that's what the fans want. They think the fans are nostalgic. We're forever going to be nostalgic, but we want to see change. And change is going to come with brand new people, not old faces.
That sounds like a speech. That was a change is going to come with brand new people, not new faces. What a line! What a line!
Yeah.
So, according to football expert Marcel van der Gaan, Ten Hag wants 2 assurances to become the Man United boss. The first one is to make sure he can bring in his own entire backroom staff. That's what you want to see, James?
100%, mate. 100%. Like, that's why Ajax have been so successful in their league, right? They ran from top to bottom extremely well. They all communicate with each other extremely well, and they delegate throughout like their club very well. I just think with us, it's always a bit haphazard. It's always square pegs in round holes. We've got ex-players in whatever positions. At one point, we had Butt, Giggs, Scholes, Carrick. Like we had like literally the whole of class. Like I used to sit in the south stand, like the row behind the away bench, and like I looked to my right, and the whole of the class of '92 are literally 2 seats down. Like they're all sat there in a row. Like after Moyes went, all 4 of them are just there, and I'm like, what is going on with this club? It's just like jobs for the boys. And so at the end of the day, like Ten Hag needs to come in and bring whoever it is, like his number 2, if he's got someone in mind that, you know, like scouts or whatever, anything like that, any coaching staff, anyone he wants to bring in, he should be allowed to. And to be fair, that should have all been discussed in the interview process. He should have had to make a presentation on things and shown what his plan was and who he wanted to work with, who he thought he'd be able to get the best out of. And so that shouldn't be news to the club. What is news to the club is if they do that, then that is going to be a change of how we've been run since David Gill left in 2013, because we've not had anything like that in the past 9 years. So that'll be a change. But yeah, Ten Hag should be able to bring in who he wants.
Yeah, fair point. Alex, how does Ten Hag transition Ajax, although a big club, to what he's got, to what he potentially could have at Man United? How can he bring that over to here? It's not the same. It's a different league. How does he make that work?
It's not the same. It's not a different league, but I think what he makes work is his philosophy, his strategies, and his tactics. And I think that's like it's true of any manager. It's like lots of managers have come from different leagues and they've come to the Premier League, but they've used their own tactics and their strategies, and that has worked for them. And it's actually improved the Premier League in many ways. I remember when Mourinho first came in and he, you know, changed the league and forced Alex Ferguson to change to 4-3-3, and that made Manchester United an incredible team and probably produced one of the best teams we've ever seen, 08-09. So I think that as much as you can look at the Dutch league and say, well, it's nowhere near the same caliber of the Premier League, I still think as a manager, I think who he's trained with, he's worked with Pep, that always excites me a great deal. He's worked with a lot of incredible, exciting coaches. So I feel like for me, it's his philosophy that's going to stand out. And like I was saying before as well, in the Champions League, he really wowed me and impressed me. So that is something that I take to mean that his philosophy and his tactics are what is going to mold our team to make them the best. Well, I hope so anyway. I think I'm so excited.
It's that's what I was saying.
Identity, God.
So again, Lauren, the structure's different, the management style's different, the player style's different. How does he take Ajax to Man United and make that successful?
I think what Alex was saying is right. I think he needs to bring his management style into the Premier League, and I think again it can just refresh what we've seen. We need refreshment in this club, and a completely different management style could be what we need. And I think it can just freshen us up. It'll give us new ideas, and hopefully we won't be as predictable as we have been the past few seasons. But I don't think it is a big change, but I think if he sticks to what he knows, he can more so make differences to other teams, as Alex was saying with when Mourinho came in, things like that. I think managers of kind of like Ten Hag's stature of, ability as a manager, I think he can make a massive change, and I think it's all going to be positive. I think, again, I'm hoping and praying as well. I don't want this to come back and bite me on the ass.
I'm not clicking anything. I wouldn't do that to anyone. James, we've seen previously Man United with adding their own 2 pence worth when it comes to employing staff. Do you think those comments would have come from Ten Hag because he wants to make sure, and he knows deep down in his mind that there could be a Man United board member trying to crowbar one of their own players in, trying to make sure that he's got some of the old Man United backroom staff in there still, and he just wants to make his point heard?
Maybe, mate. He should be making his point heard, to be honest. Like, if you have self-belief and you think you're good, or you're good at what you do, when you go for an interview at any job, it should be a two-way process, right? You should be interviewing the employer, they should be interviewing you. So it should be as much of you making sure you're a good fit for them as they're a good fit for you, etc. So he should be literally going into Manchester United and being like, yes, I want this job, but I want this job on these terms. And unless these terms are met, I am not going to manage your club because I don't think I can work efficiently and effectively under your terms. So basically, this is it. This is the offer. Take it or leave it. And that's the way I see it. Yeah,
definitely. One of the other assurance that he wanted guarantees with the management of the players. He says that there's players that are older and more expensive in the club, like Cristiano Ronaldo. But what happens when they want to change the playing style, or they want to bring in younger players who could suit Ten Hag's style? Alex, once again, another sort of, he wants a guarantee that he's going to have the final say over these players. Surely that goes without saying. Surely. Well,
you think so, but I mean, in our history, that's not been the case. I feel like it's been player power, which it's been sickened to my stomach by. And so, listen, I think in order for us to be successful, in order for us to move forward, they cannot be the ones that have a say. There's a reason why the manager is paid the money that he's paid. There's a reason why we have a manager. If we didn't need a manager, you just let all these players just go on the pitch then and just do what they want to do, because that's, we don't need a manager, but we do. There's a reason why. So I feel like what he says should go. And I feel like if they don't agree, then they can go, because I'm not saying that he's going to be perfect. He's going to do everything the best or right. And I think that there's always an element of toxicity with managers. Yeah. But it's about the way that they can manage their team. And I feel like in terms of like him getting rid of players like Ronaldo, I feel like Ronaldo would probably be really professional and would understand like he has to change. And I don't think Ronaldo would necessarily be the problem in terms of trying to get involved and get involved with the new implementation of what Ten Hag is trying to do. I feel like it would be the other ones who don't want to work, the ones who are complaining about training in the nighttime, the ones who are complaining about where they're eating, all that kind of stuff. Like they're going to be the issue. And they can just, honestly, they can just leave. I've seen Jaap Stam go. I was devastated. I've seen Van Nistelrooy go. I've seen Beckham go. I've been devastated. But I knew that it was for the good of the team, because no one should be above the manager. And if they don't understand that, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, they can just leave.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Lauren, you've got Harry Maguire, Shaw, Rashford, all upset. The other players that are, they're all off anyway. How does Ten Hag have his say over there? These are top earners. These are players that cost 80 million plus or 80 million. Rashford's Rashford's from the youth, but he's got a price tag which will be pretty much up there. How does Ten Hag have the power over them?
With Harry, he needs to just drop him, because I think there's certain players that have kind of got an arrogance about them because they know that their position is secure. They're gonna get played week in, week out. It was the same with Luke Shaw as well. So they need to just be dropped. If they're not going to listen to the manager straight away, you don't give them any time. You say, right, you're done. You're done until you can listen to me. He needs to come in and stamp his authority straight away and say, look, I am the one at the end of the day that is making decisions, and I can do anything to your career. I can make it incredible, or I can ruin it very quickly. And that sounds really harsh, but they need to be scared. They need to have a little bit of worry about ruining the career is harsh, but the United career. Because if they're not going to listen, they don't deserve to be on the pitch. The manager is the person who should have the last say. And if players start to think they're bigger than that, they don't deserve a place in the club or not in the starting 11 anyway.
Yeah, that's a fair point. James, Jose couldn't get Maguire, and then Ollie got him. Ollie couldn't get Sancho, and then 18 months later he got him and got the boot. How is Ten Hag going to come into this Man United team and rule the roost over what the people upstairs are saying?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it, Kieran? We'll wait and we'll wait and see if that happens. Like, literally, we're all begging for it to happen. We all hope it will. And like I said, like, hopefully it was part of his interview process that he sought out these assurances that he was going to have control over these things that are important. I don't think there's anything that he could like magically say that will convince them to be like, oh yeah, we'll give you power. You've just got to trust that the Glazers and that Richard Arnold kind of see that United are at an all-time low in terms of success on the pitch. Share prices have dropped. They've actually risen since the Ten Hag news, but they've dropped to a pretty big low recently. And the way that Man United become more valuable again is by being more successful on the pitch. And with people like that, like Lauren said before, they don't care. They don't care about the history of the club. They don't get stuff like that. So you've got to hit them and speak to them where it hurts, and that's in their pocket, right? So at the end of the day, you've just got to kind of make sure that they know that the best way of them making more money is for the club to be more successful. The way for the club to be more successful is to leave the manager to delegate the tasks to the people that are best at performing them. And hopefully they understand with their wallets, because they haven't seemed to understand any other way in the last 9 years, have they?
Yeah, you make a fair point. It's you can bring in all the players you want. You can add all the sponsorship, go on as many tours as you want, but Man United will only be back to their best when they're actually back to their best. It's not going to make a difference otherwise. Alex, if Ten Hag comes in, Man United give him all the promises, and he doesn't get everything that he wants. They're trying to bring back, I don't know, Paul Parker, Dennis Irwin.
Yeah. Bring him back. Love it.
Couldn't think of anyone that just popped in my head.
Yeah. Paul Parker.
Paul Parker.
name.
I was like, my mind's gone blank.
Dwight York's there currently doing his coaching, actually. Dwight York, come on.
Yeah, Dwight York's back from Dubai now. He's done his coaching. Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
Striker.
Do you want Dwight York? Do you want Dwight York? Do you want to ruin that legacy?
I spoke to Dwight York, funnily enough. He's a member at my gym. I spoke to him about 6 months ago probably a bit longer, when Ollie was in charge, about the whole situation, and won't reveal too much, but he wasn't best pleased.
That's why he's doing his coaching badges.
He was already doing it. He was already doing his coaching badges. He was back from Dubai, and then he was heading back out. But he basically was of the impression of, what else have you got to lose, kind of thing. Just like throw everyone, let them all play. Like, why are you playing all these people, kind of thing. He was. We spoke for about half an hour, and there was lots of expletives in both our ends, to be honest.
He's still a Man United fan. He's very, very
big exclusive, yeah.
Big exclusive. That's what you bring. You're bringing the exclusives here. Yeah. Right. It was on Alex. All right. If he doesn't get his way, and Man United are trying to bring back Dennis Irwin, Paul Parker, and Dwight York, and he's not getting his way with the players, should he just go? Because you hear it all the time. The manager should go. But they've got their own egos as well. Should he go, or should he stay and show how good a manager he is?
I mean, goodness, if they are going to try and implement players and resurrect people and put them in his squad, then I mean we're not going to win anything, and Lord help us, because I think you have to like let him have his own team, for goodness sake. Like Pep does that. I think even Klopp, like I think you have to have like people in your coaching staff, in your team, that you respect, you work with, that you all know the system. It's difficult when you're thrown together with a few people and you're like, okay, here's Dwight York, he's doing this, and you don't know this person. You have to try and bring them up to speed with you, and they've got their own ideas, etc. It's like you need unison. You don't need all this sort of division. I think it's a massive distraction. It's the same thing when Ollie came in and he was getting Mike Phelan. I was like, oh my god! And then he was getting the old guys like McKenna and Carrick, and I was like, but these are the guys that were with Mourinho and it didn't work. It's like, why are we now bringing them to then for a new way? So I hope they don't get involved. But yeah, I think, you know what, like James was saying, this should have been in a part of his interview process where it's like, these are his requirements that he needs to succeed. I think that's a really important component to it. And I don't think that they should stick their noses into it. And I feel like Darren Fletcher and John Murtaugh are really going to get involved. I really do. And I don't want them to, but I feel like they really are. So yeah, that's my opinion. I hope they don't. I hope they let him just do what he needs to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if he needs help, if he needs the assistance, then so be it. But it's a case of, you've seen what Man United have done over the last 10 years. It is time to just let someone take the reins on it fully. Lauren, do you think if Ten Hag comes in and doesn't get the two things that he wants, which is final say over players and his full backroom staff, he should just walk out?
Selfishly, no, because I still want him as a manager. So I wouldn't want to see him go. But I think potentially for his own sanity, then yeah. But also, I do think even though he's not got what he wants, he'll still want to prove himself and prove that he is the manager we've all been asking for. And it might be more of a task for him, but it could work out better for him if he makes it work. So it's kind of a bit of an ego thing that he's already started off, not in a great position because he's not got the people he wants next to him. But if he can then still get some success, it could make him look even better than we originally thought he was. So it could be a bit of an ego thing to say, I can still do it with the tools that I've been given, not the tools I wanted. So I don't think he'd just walk straight away. I do think he'll give it a go, but I think he's more than in his right to leave if it kind of doesn't work, because it wasn't what he wanted.
Yeah.
Kieran, sorry, I was gonna add one thing as well. Yeah, like, because Lauren just reminded me of something. I was thinking, if he did decide to walk, then by that time Thomas Tuchel would have got the sack, and then we can get him instead. So I think it will work out.
Whatever way, it will work out. James, how long do you think realistically he gets?
I got asked this question at lunchtime, and because they were basically saying, does he get 5 years? Because they were talking about a 5-year contract or something. And I said, no, in this fan base, probably not. However, it is the most support I've seen for a manager in a long time post-Ferguson. Like, Ollie came close after his 13-game interim thing. Like, we got involved in the emotion of it all, and we played decent football, scored a lot of goals, and there was a lot of support for Ollie as manager. And he had a couple of decent finishes in his first couple of seasons, couple of final and semi-final losses. But then eventually, when results became so bad, you couldn't take it anymore, right? And you saw there was no future and he had to go. But there's a lot, I'd say, like, social media is like 90+% Ten Hag, right? There's a lot of support for Ten Hag, which means that, like, I wasn't massively split between Ten Hag and Pochettino, I'll be honest. I'm probably coming more around to the Ten Hag thing now, but I wasn't really that bothered originally. The main point for Ten Hag is the fact that more of the fan base are behind him, so we'll probably show more patience. Also, the fact that he's built several teams. Like, if you look at the amount of players that he's lost at Ajax, and they're probably going to win the league this year, and he's lost like 15 players over his 5 years there that you would consider top quality players. So he's built like 3 or 4 different teams, and that bodes well. The fact that him and Ranić have both built teams and could work together, that also bodes well. So yeah, it's an interesting one, man. It's going to be a ride and a half in it. But 5 years is maybe. I think if he finishes like fifth or sixth next season, I think he's still okay. As long as we're implementing the style and stuff, I think he's okay. I think if we don't win a cup or get to a final and he's fifth or sixth in his second season, I think you're going to get some of the people, especially the people that were poaching. I think they'll probably start to turn a little bit and question a few things. And then I think he'll get at least 3 years unless he chooses to walk, I think.
Okay. That's still enough time to see some form of change, though, isn't it?
You would think so.
Definitely. Alex, how long do you think he gets? How long do you think the fans will give him? How patient do you think they are realistically?
I don't think they're patient at all. Honestly, I really don't. I don't think that a lot of United fans are going to have like the patience it's going to take to see what he's going to do. Because I think that not all, because I know us here, like we're realistic about the situation. We're going to give him time, but I think the majority of the fans, as soon as they, a few results don't go away, even if we don't win any trophies next season, I bet you they're going to start calling for his head next season, and they're not going to understand it takes time. So even like I remember when Fergie was implementing the 4-3-3 system, there was like a lot of losses, and there was a little bit of a upheaval, and a lot of fans were like getting restless and getting angsty and getting upset. That's just the nature of the beast. It's like football is so results driven. It's like if you don't win, that's it, you're finished. Like and people are relentless. Like, not to throw stones at you, Kieran, but when Arsenal lost against Crystal Palace this week, it was like Arsenal finish. Is this their season done? Sorry. But also it's also just
shots fired, Kieran. Go.
But it's just managers. It's really difficult because it's even like, sorry again, Arsene Wenger. He got knowledge, yeah, and he was an incredible manager and did a lot of things. So what I'm saying is this: fan bases across the land, they're just fickle and terrible. And United fans are not any. They're not any better than anyone else. I'm just saying that I don't see him being given any grace necessarily. The honeymoon period is going to come, and as soon as we get knocked out of an FA Cup, we get knocked out of a Carabao Cup, we get knocked out of whatever competition, that's it. They're going to throw the towel in and call for another manager. I guarantee that's going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah, we've seen it before. Lauren, how long does he realistically get? You've seen the fan base. You see him on a weekly basis in the stands. Who's going to go first? Social media? We all know that question. Social media or the stands? And how long does he get?
100% obviously social media. It's like with social media, it's just dangerous because one person will say something and wind then the next person up. And then it's like a snowball effect and everyone just becomes so irate. I think, as Alex said, if we, drop out of one cup, that's it. They're going to be on his back because he's meant to, we're all so hyped. I think because we're all so hyped on him, there's a really high expectation. Therefore, there's going to be a massive fall when something doesn't go right. And I think what I'm kind of bored of with this fan base is we're still stuck in history of the club. We're still stuck in like we're the biggest club, we're still the high and mighty. Unfortunately, we're not there yet now anymore. We're not the most dangerous team in the Premier League, and we need to be realistic that winning the Premier League in one season isn't going to happen. We've got to build again, and people don't understand that, and they just want to see results straight away. So we need to be patient and watch the change from the beginning and not just one instant success.
Yeah, very, very true. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. Once the beasts on social media get riled up, there's no stopping them. It's down to the fans on the ground to make sure that it's kept a bit level-headed.
Mate,
I do think. Sorry.
No, go on, Lauren. Go on.
I was just going to say, like the fans in the stands, like even the hate that Harry Maguire's been getting on Saturday, we are all chanting his name again. We still got behind him, and I think the world of I'm not criticizing anyone that can't get to games whatsoever, but I'm saying that the world inside the ground is a completely different world to the social media world. I think someone in another group chat said, "Oh, Harry Maguire's getting booed," and he wasn't. We were cheering him. It was the Leicester fans that were booing him. But all you're gonna hear is boos, and because you've seen social media, you're expecting it to be the United fans, and it's not, because it's so different.
Yeah. What was you going to say, James? Great point.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I was just going to say that if social media was around in '89, we wouldn't have had Sir Alex Ferguson because he'd have lost his job. He'd have 100% lost his job. He wouldn't be a Sir. We wouldn't have had a 26-year dynasty. We wouldn't have had the 2 Champions Leagues. We wouldn't have had 13 league titles. None of that would have happened because he'd have lost his job, because the idiots on social media would have called for his head, and the board would have delivered on that. So people on social media sometimes need to realise that just because you've played Football Manager or FIFA, you don't know more about the club than the people that own the club and the people that run the club and the people that work in the club. So shut up, basically.
Yeah, and
subscribe, comment, and do all that.
Like, subscribe, and comment.
Yeah.
All the comments you want in there. Hateful, I don't care. You just like algorithms.
Yeah.
All right. And I guarantee, James, them people be rubbish at Football Manager anyway. You have to know football. You have to know football to play Football Manager.
And the football, back in my day, it was Championship Manager, mate. 1 and 2.
James, don't do this, mate.
Day,
James, I just want to say, I'm on the front cover of the 2019 one, mate.
Are you actually, though?
I am.
Are you actually serious?
I'm deadly serious.
Are you?
I'm deadly serious.
In a group.
I'm going to put it up.
I need pull it up right now. I need to see this. Go on. I 100% need to see this. Go on.
Okay.
we got asked the other day, right? So we had to do some headshots for United View thumbnail stuff, right? And we were all sending them. Faz sent one into the group chat, right? No joke. And he's edited his face onto Ronaldo's body in the Juve shirt from 2019. It's absolutely hilarious. So he's there like this. It's class, mate. I can't wait to see it. I'll try and send it to the chat. It's class.
All right. Sorry, people. I've been summoned to do this.
Oh,
Drum
please,
roll.
come on. Are you leaping through the air or something?
I'm sweating now. I'm sweating.
Did I dream
pressure
it?
is fully on.
Did I dream it?
No, honestly, it felt like a dream because my agent called me up and he said, "I've got a job for you," and I was like, "Yeah, cool, send it through." They wouldn't tell me what the job was, but then I went to the casting and I was just like, you know, when you play Championship Champ since Champ and it's moved to Football Manager and you've got the book, you are there.
You're hardcore, you're in.
I'm just like, there's something fishy about this place. I feel like, and then it got to the shoot down. I was like, by the way, is this for Football Manager? And it was like, yeah. I was like,
fanboy moment. The dreams have come true.
You don't know. So I'll show you the first picture.
That's a big deal, Darren. That's a big deal, man. That's good effort.
Yeah, honestly, it was massive. So this is the first photo. Don't know if you could recognise me. I'm number 15.
Okay, big lad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
let's go.
Big lad, number 15. Just to clarify, just because I've had people tell me that's not me, and I'm like, don't make me go home and get the shirt. Yeah, you can just see me in this one here, right there. I am the face in the Twitch one as well. So let's see if we can zoom in on that.
Go on, lad.
So there is your boy, Kieran Stewart, right there.
Unbelievable.
Jeez.
Unbelievable.
Check you out.
We love it. That claim to fame this now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Famous, mate.
Okay now.
Mark Crossley, eat your heart out.
That's what I'm saying. You said it, not me. You said it, not me. Yeah, got me all gassed up over it. All right, let's get.
Please.
Yeah.
Don't stop it. Stop it. You're getting me proper hurt.
Honestly, after games, that happens all the time. We're standing round and people are coming up asking Flex for his picture, and we're like, Like, this is mad. This is absolutely mad.
I might
like,
just walk around with the
two
two games.
That's
Get
me.
like a headband and strap a game either side of my head and just walk around like that.
And then carry copies of it to sign for people.
Yeah. But I had to charge them because there's no way I didn't earn that money for much money from the shoot. So yeah.
That's big, man. Congrats. Love that.
Thank you very much.
Smash
Thank you very
it.
much. It's all right. Let's get back to the real topic. Not Kieran.
Not
This.
Kieran.
We're all starstruck.
No, you know what? I'm actually lost for words myself. Like, I feel like I'm sitting on the other side right now.
So funny.
All right. Let's get to it before we get on to a big game Man United have got this weekend. There's already links with players potentially coming to the club. One of them is Calvin Phillips. James, is Calvin Phillips a player that you'd like to see at Man United?
If Ten Hag wants him at Man United, that's going to be my answer to everything, I'm afraid, because like, at the end of the day, I'm not the person that's got to manage these players. He is, and it's up to him. Like, again, with the whole social media, Football Manager, FIFA people, they're like, oh, but Tchouaméni's a Ten Hag player and Kamara's a Ten Hag player, and it's like, what, have you got him on WhatsApp? Do you know? Like, you've got no idea. Like, you just see a style of play and you think that player could fit, but you don't watch them week in, week out. I guarantee the people that want Cambering for like Tchouaméni, they probably watch him in the France team, maybe the Champions League. Like, maybe they've watched 4 games this season, and then they complain about our players being inconsistent. And it's like, well, he could be inconsistent. You only watched 4 of their games this season, so you don't know. So it's like, at the end of the day, from what I've seen of Calvin Phillips at the Euros and a few Leeds games, not loads, he looks decent. He looks like he could fit in our team. He's 26. He's coming into his prime. He's physical. He's positionally very good. He can drive with the ball. He could play in a double pivot if we choose to play that way. I think he's going to be a little bit expensive. I think he probably could be about 40, 50 million quid. That may be an issue. Leeds, as much as I hate them on a personal level, we've done good business with them in the past. Cantona, Alan Smith, Rio Ferdinand. Dan James. So we've done good business with them in the past. So we've got good links from that point of view. Yeah. So maybe it could work. But as we know, I think contract talks broke down or something twice this week. So is it just a bit of using Man United to try and get, breakthrough in contract negotiations, like seems to happen with everyone else, maybe? But he could fit our team. But listen, it's down to Ten Hag. And as long as the news that came out today was we're after him, but Ten Hag gets a veto, as long as that's true, then I'm fine with it. Like, if he comes in and he's not the player he wants, then yeah, as long as he can cancel the deal, I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's fair. Alex, Calvin Phillips, a player that Man United should be looking at?
I really don't know. I think the thing for me is that I remember him saying that he was offered. So when Leeds got promoted, I remember he was saying that he was offered like an opportunity to like play at another club, but his mum convinced him, and he's convinced because he's like played at Leeds and he felt devoted to Leeds, and I get that. So I feel like he's very much a Leeds United player and a Leeds United fan. So it's like, for me, I don't think he'd even want to come to United in the first place anyway, because like it's like Gary Neville, he wouldn't go to play at Leeds, he'd never go to Liverpool. So I don't think that's a prospect. I think that for me, like I was saying to in the United group chat earlier on today, that we're going to be associated and affiliated with every single player under the sun who you can think of, like everyone. So it's really, really difficult. I think what I'd like is for Ten Hag to come in and then to buy players that are going to fit into his style. And I don't know if that is a Calvin Phillips right now. I really can't see it. So from that perspective, I'm out on that one. And I don't think that he should come. I know we're desperate for a DM, but I don't really think he's the answer for me.
All right. Lauren, Calvin Phillips, is he the man to fill that spot for DM that you've been crying out for ages?
Do you know what? I remember watching the Euros, and I'd sat there and watched him, and me and my dad were saying, we'd happily take him at United. But I think now with kind of like inflation, English tax, and I don't know whether he's worth the money he's going to cost. But then we say that we're looking at Rice, who's going to be upwards of 100 million. I just think it's unfortunately the way English football is going, and we have to sometimes suck it up. I would like to see Calvin Phillips at United, and people are saying, he's Leeds through and through. Alan Smith was Leeds through and through, but he still came and did a job for us. and then went back to Leeds. So it can be done. And as James said, we've done great business with other Leeds players in the past as well. So it can be done, and I take great pleasure from taking players from Leeds. So it's great. But in terms of Calvin Phillips, we are absolutely screaming out for that defensive midfielder, and I do genuinely think he could do the job for us. He knows the Premier League inside out now. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, general consensus is if Ten Hag wants him, get him. Alex is maybe not, and Lauren is just get him.
Yeah, but that's because he's like 40 odd, because it's Kevin Phillips, not Calvin Phillips. So that's why. I got called out for calling him Calvert Lewin like 2 weeks ago. She's not getting away with that at all. You said Kevin Phillips. She is not getting away with that after I said Calvert Lewin.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
On it.
One England cap.
It. No chances.
Bolton through and through.
No chance.
Not the
Kevin
guy.
Phillips.
Kevin Phillips. What a player. Blackburn, Bolton.
Not a
Ledge.
DM. Not a DM.
Not a DM. Not a DM. Could probably do a job though. Good in the air, strong, bully. Yeah, exactly what you're looking for. Yeah. All right. Big game this weekend. Saturday, 12:30, Goodison Park. 3 points, surely, because Lampard is a joke of a manager. I'm sorry. The conversation about Lampard needs to be had soon. Not on this channel, maybe. But he's been awful. He's had the Chelsea job. He's had the Derby job. He's now got the Everton job. And I didn't think they could look worse, but they have done. James, surely this has got to be 3 points on Saturday against Everton.
Anytime anyone asks a question with surely, then it's supposed to leave my answer, and I'm not sure at all. First things first, Goodison Park, I don't know if I can swear, but it's an absolute poop hole, mate. Honestly, if you've been there, they put you behind that one literal stanchion and you can't see it. I hate Goodison Park. It's probably the one stadium in the country that's in worse condition and is older than Old Trafford. It's a joke, awful place, and you have to go to Merseyside to get there. Even worse. Yeah.
Worse as well.
Yeah. Awful. Honestly, so old, so outdated, awful. I mean, I've been there a few times. I've watched us get good results, but there's also a chance that Everton could turn into prime Barcelona come 12:30 on Saturday and play great football. So we don't know. The players got something to prove. Like Ten Hag will be watching, in theory. I will do brush. I'll say how I really feel. Don't worry about it. Do they have something to prove? Are they going to do something? Like Ten Hag's watching. If I was them, I'd think, my manager is going to be watching this, my future manager. No longer am I playing for an interim that's going to be out of a job. I'm going to be playing for someone that should be here for the next 5 years. I want to be part of his plans going forward. I'm going to show him what I can do. But you just never know with United. Every time they get my hopes back, they bring me back down to earth. Like Leeds, amazing result, 4-2 away in the rain, really big battling performance. Expect stuff in the derby. We don't lay a glove on them for 45 minutes. Then Spurs, Ronaldo show 3-2, big up for Atletico, and then we just let Simeone walk all over us for 90 minutes. And it's we just can't put results together in a row at all. So do I have faith that we're going to win? No, but I'll predict to win. I'll say we'll scrape a 2-1 win, something like that.
Just scrape a 2-1 win.
Scrape it. Against 17th in the league, Kieran, come on, or 8th, whatever they are.
Yeah.
We should be beating them.
Yeah, they're bad. Alex.
Yeah.
Positivity. Man United. Goodison Park. 12:30. Surely a win.
Oh my gosh! You know what? I honestly think it's going to be 2-2. I'm not even joking because I don't want to jinx this team, and I hope that when I'm saying this, I'm wrong. My thing is, it's like what James is saying. It's this season has been such a quality streak. It's just you pick a mix. You don't know what you're going to get with this team. Every time, I think they're going to play Burnley and they're going to do this or they're going to play this team, and it just falls to pieces. So I've come to peace with myself and my life right now, and I'm not going to get myself stressed and wound up by hoping and wishing and thinking that they're going to win. I'm just going to watch the game like everyone and just see what unfolds and see what happens, because It's even like you were saying about the Leeds game. It was a great game, but why are you conceding those goals? Okay, the first goal was a bit of a fluky goal, fine, but the other ones, it's why when you watch other teams, they play and they have a clean sweep, like they just win like 4-0 and that's it, boom. We play these teams and we concede goals all the time, or we lose 1-0 to a team and they go on a losing streak for 5-6 games. So, Lord, I mean, even I don't know. The Lampard team are gonna like turn us over.
They are screaming out for you to give them hope, Alex, and you gave them nothing.
Guys,
Zero.
I'm sorry. The only
Nada.
positivity that I have is that we're going to get a new manager, a new team, a new season coming. That's all I can give you. I'm sorry. I'm tired.
All right, Lauren. Goodison Park, 12:30. Surely a win. Has to be. Frank Lampard is not up to scratch.
So I was
That's me
literally going to
being
say
nice.
exactly what James said, and I was like, they're going to turn into Prime Barcelona on Saturday. It's their cup final. Honestly, in serious, I do think we're going to be really cagey because we're going to be scared to lose against Everton. I think we will scrape a 1-0. But then I'm not too hopeful to get a clean sheet, so it could be a 2-1. But I'm not looking not looking forward to it. I'm not going to lie to you.
Whew. Well, what a way to end the show. Huh? Huh? Positivity. Yeah? Absolutely drained out of every viewer that's currently watching now. Well done. You too. Actually, it's you two. Because James at least gave it a scrape of a 2-1.
I said 1-0 or 2-1.
I did.
This team's sitting bottom of the league. They couldn't buy a pass, let alone a win. Jeez, they are trash. They're rubbish. They are rubbish. And how Lampard had the audacity to turn around and say that he conceded average goals past Crystal Palace in the cup, and then come back and go 2-1 up against Burnley, a team who they need to get 3 points off, a 6-pointer, and then lose 3-2. Oh, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
So
Gosh, you're going to tell me nil,
Tell him again.
0-0. Scrape a 2-1. Where have you gone?
This is Man
Where's your
Man
pride?
United now, man. Welcome
Where's
to
your
2022.
That's all right.
Yeah, this is us.
Man United 2.0. What is going on? God.
But they did play
Hopefully.
against Man City though, so that there's that too. They did play well against Man City that time. They lost, but they did play. They played well.
A broken clock tells the right time twice. Yeah.
Every day, yeah.
There we go. It's bound to happen one time. Fall into the goal or whatever. Something happened. All right. Well, I'm going to bring some positive spin, everyone. Paul, there you go. 5-0.
Yeah.
2-0 Man United. 2-0 Man United. Everton are rubbish. That's it. All right. Thank you, everyone who's joined us tonight. Absolutely killed it in the comment section. Guests have been brilliant. Thank you for joining us tonight, James.
No problem, mate. Thanks for having me as always.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Alex.
My favourite place to be on a Thursday night.
All right. I love it. And thank you for joining us, Lauren.
Thank you very much for having me again and giving me a proper laugh.
All right. It's all good. It's all good. Please press that like and subscribe, people. Make sure if you are watching on Twitter, you join us next time. Come to the comment section. Don't be shy. If you are watching on Facebook, change your settings. There was one in there. There was an egg in there. It's all right. It's all love, Facebook user. It's all love. Yeah. But change your settings so we can see who you are. Hiding behind that big F. Don't do that. Come and join us. Show your face. All right. It's all love. Please press that like and subscribe, people. We're 8 away from 1K. And once we hit 1K, we're trying to get another 1K. Did you keep it rolling? You just keep it rolling. Yeah, we're 8 away. So press that like and subscribe. Press that share as well. All right. Peace out, people. Who's saying something? There we go. Break a leg. Go on, share it. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.